Remarks from the FCT focal person, and that is no other person than the FCT focal person, Mr. Shehu Abdulkadri, who is the MD CEO of the Abuja Enterprise Agency. You're welcome, sir. Let's put our hands together for him, please.
The chairperson, the Honorable Minister of State, Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Ambassador Maria Makatago, the project coordinator, our own Mr. Tola Johnson, the representative of the DGITF, representative of various government agencies, the beneficiaries, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure and honor that I welcome you all to the Survival Fund and Guarantee Offtake Scheme Beneficiary Town Hall meeting. The MSME Survival Fund and the Guarantee Offtake Scheme, a component of the Federal Government Economic Sustainability Plan, was initiated to accelerate Nigeria's recovery from the negative impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. The scheme was designed to support and sustain the livelihood of vulnerable SMEs and self-employed individuals mostly affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. The Abuja Enterprise Agency, during the implementation of the project here in the FCT, served as the focal institution for the FCT. Our role essentially focused on creating awareness, ensuring coverage across the 6 area councils of the FCT by identifying and engaging stakeholders and prospective beneficiaries such as trade unions, small business operators, transporters, artisans, associations, cooperatives, etc. And I'm very delighted and happy to see most of you here. For us as an SME development agency, we see this as an opportunity for us to serve beyond being focal person. In addition to this support that I mentioned, we provided technical support to the implementing committee in the area of workspace, additional manpower, among others, especially in the CAC registration. We are delighted of the achievement recorded during the implementation of the scheme, which include meeting up with 13,000 people under the payroll support scheme, 2,890 under the MSME grants, 6,606 under the CAC registration, 4,504 artisans and transport grants, 2,640 firms were linked to market under the Guarantee Offtake Stimulated Scheme. You believe with me, this scheme has achieved its objective because it has created jobs for a teeming number of people. From our own end in the FCT, towards sustaining the laudable milestone and gains of the scheme, the Abuja Enterprise Agency, through the CAC, applied for 50% reduction in business registration for 2,000 businesses. I would like to say a very big thank you, Ma, for approving a 50% reduction for registration of 2,000 businesses in the FCT. For us, this is a way to sustain the gains recorded by this laudable scheme. Furthermore, the FCT as administration is desirous of further subsidizing this fee by another 25%. It is our belief that this laudable objective of the Survival Fund scheme should be sustained towards creating a more inclusive development in the FCT and beyond. This marks part of our strategy in sustaining the gains made by this laudable project. Before I conclude this remark, I would like to appreciate our Minister, Malam Muhammad Musa Bello, for giving us the platform and all the necessary support to effectively serve as the focal person in the FCT. I would like to conclude my remarks by assuring all that Abuja Enterprise Agency will sustain our engagement with all the stakeholders here today towards sustaining and supporting the growth and development of SMEs in the FCT. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure to welcome you all to this auspicious occasion. Thank you and God bless.
We can do better. Can we put our hands together for him once again? Thank you very much, sir. Moving forward, we would now like to listen to the opening remarks of our own delectable project coordinator, the Honorable SA to the President on MSME. Ladies and gentlemen, the agile, young, and versatile Mr. Tola Adekunle Johnson.
Good morning, everyone. Your Excellency, the Honorable Minister of State, Industry, Trade and Investment, and the Chairperson for the Steering Committee on Survival Fund and GOS NESP scheme, our state focal person, Mr. Shehu Abdul Qadir, ITF Director General ably represented here today, and beneficiaries, good morning once again. And I'd like to thank you all for being here. President Muhammad Buhari on the 1st of July approved the NESP scheme. And if we recall, one of the first tracks that was approved was the scheme for the MSMEs. That was the very first track that was approved before other schemes were approved. And after approving that, he approved 5 different tracks. One was the payroll, the next was the general MSME grant. The payroll, because sometimes we need to reiterate the reasons for every track that was approved. Every track that was approved because both the presidency and the Ministry of Trade and Investment had sat down to look at what was going on in terms of the situation at that point in time with COVID. So we had looked at what critical MSME areas would be quickly affected and how we could quickly mitigate against MSMEs laying off staff. So that gave rise to why there was the payroll scheme. That was to ensure that MSMEs don't start laying off people. So we said, as a government, we're going to pay your staff for 90 days. That's 3 months. And we're paying, thank you, you can clap if you want. We're going to pay your staff for 90 days, and we're paying as much as, some companies got as much as $500,000 every month for 90 days to pay their staff. You know, what that did for some of the companies was that it allowed them at least use some of their monies for something else. Then, between the ministry and the president, they also thought of the fact that there are some MSMEs, their total business is no more than 100,000. How are they going to fare? So what we now decided was that those ones, let's quickly give them 50,000 naira. I mean, if your business is worth 100,000, let's give you 50,000 now to quickly cushion the effects of the pandemic. Then we now realized that there were transporters. And artisans. These are people that are tailors. These are people that are hairdressers. Then transporters that go, normally they will have like 4 or 5 people in their car. During COVID, if you remember that they were saying that no more than 2 people at the back, only 1 person in front. So it was reducing the amounts they were making. So it was logical that we needed to do something for them as well. That gave rise to the 30,000 naira for artisan and transporters. Then, there's this MSME clinic that the VP and the minister go around the country trying to promote businesses. And several times they had seen small businesses, very lovely businesses, lovely MSMEs. They will say, oh, my business is not even registered. Why? Oh, I do not have money for CAC registration. So between the vice president and the minister, they said, this is the best time to help some MSMEs register their businesses. We registered 250,000 business names in this country. Some of you are here. Then lastly, we said, let's promote production. MSMEs that are tailors, MSMEs that are doing all sorts of things. Let's promote and market them. They decided that there was a track called the Guaranteed Off-Take Scheme. Now, you are supposed to produce face mask. Basically, then the federal government will buy the face mask from you. So we did that to ensure that our MSME space, all over the world, MSME spaces were affected. But we just decided that as a responsible government, we needed to quickly come in and see how to cushion the effect. And one thing I must do before leaving here is to thank the media. You must agree with me that the media were briefed every quarter. The chairperson insisted that we must brief the media every quarter. Even when there were snags, she said we needed to be open with the country. We briefed them every quarter. We let the media know that this was our plan for this quarter. We have hit this target, or we missed this target, but these are the plans to ensure that we hit it next time. So we carried the media along every part of the way as we did this. And I would like to seize this opportunity to thank the MSMEs themselves. Initially the MSMEs were a bit, they were not trusting. But that's because in the past, government schemes have been shrouded in secrecy, half lies and half truths. But this government has shown that it is very sincere about taking care of its MSMEs. When was the last time you saw a vice president and a minister go from town to town, local government, and be asking MSMEs, what's your problem? How can we resolve your issues in your business? This is the only government that has done it. Please, this is the only government that has done it. So, I would like to thank you, the MSMEs yourselves, because when you write a script and you don't have people to act the script, then it is as good as dead. Thank you for your cooperation. Thank you for your belief. We've heard some of your suggestions that this program should continue. Well, that will be a decision between the minister and the VP to make. But thank you for all your support. I would like to seize this opportunity to thank the steering committee headed by the Honorable Minister herself. These are the people that steered all those things, all your approvals. They are the ones that made sure that I got every approval that you are seeing. Thank you to all steering committee members. Thank you to all state focal persons that worked with us across party lines. This COVID made me realize that, we are one people. Nobody thought of PDP, APC, ABBA. Nobody thought about any party. There was no religion, nothing. Everybody knew that there was a problem, and we all worked together. Thank you very much. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Yes, can we put our hands together once again? You all agree with me that the MSME Survivor Fund has actually been very, very helpful. Yes or no? Yes, and the lots of you in attendance today, that is the beneficiaries, you are a living testimony to this fact. And we have benefited. As Nigerians, we have always clamored that the dividend of democracy should be enjoyed by the common man on the street. And you agree with me that what we are doing with the MSME Survivor Fund, as ably led by the Honorable Minister, is very, very fruitful and amazing. So you agree with me that we are enjoying the dividends of democracy, if anything at all, the MSME sector. So that deserves a round of applause. Please, can we put our hands together for the team? And so we are here gathered today to, get the feelers from members of the beneficiaries of the MSME Survivor Fund, and we are going to listen to the stories. We are going to listen to the impact. This exercise is in furtherance of the monitoring and evaluation of the project itself, and we are going to enjoy it. All right, so without any further ado, we're going to listen to the testimonials by the beneficiaries. And so I've been asked to call on the first beneficiary to come here and tell us what they feel and how beneficial it has been to them and their experiences so far. The PRO of ACCOMO Akomoron, Mr. Uzo Stanley Azuka. Can we put our hands together for him? Yes. You are going to introduce yourself properly. And also, I beg your pardon, Mr. Yaya Manu is of the ITF and not IMF. You are welcome, sir. Somebody drew my attention to it earlier. All right.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Uzo Stanley Azuka, FCT PRO of Akomora. Akomora means Amalgamated Commercial Motorcycle Tricycle Owners Rider Repairs Association of Nigeria. Akomora, we deal with motorbike and also keke napep. And we are the only largest association in Nigeria, which we abide with government policies. And we thank the Honorable Minister of Trade and Investment for the opportunity they give our association. And the scale, we really benefit and we really appreciate. We at Akomora, we thank the federal government for this opportunity to help us during the pandemic, and we really appreciate. It's not easy to remember the transporter, especially Okada riders. We are the people that almost help the masses to make sure we carry them from one destination to another. But in terms of benefiting government, it's like government don't recognize us. But we thank God that the Honorable Minister remember us and we benefit in this case. And we use this opportunity to thank them because we have the chairman of our association in 6 area council, which we follow up and we go around, we witness what they are doing through the FCT chairman or the whole executive. We follow the people that captured and make sure that everything went well. And we really appreciate. And also we are praying to the Honorable Minister of Trade and Investment to also remember us again, because most of our members, some of them did not receive. And we hope that with this, they will remember us. And also, we thank God and we really appreciate. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful testimonial there. All right, coming next, we would like to listen to Mr. Idoko Sunday, of Zuel Optimum Concept Limited. Mr. Idoko Sunday. Let's put our hands together for him, please.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. My name is Idoko Sunday from Zoel Optimum Concept Limited. We are agro-business company. So during the COVID, we have a challenge of meeting to pay our staff salary, which our staff were beneficiary of the payroll. The money we got helped our staff in a long run to cushion the effect of our inability to meet up some certain payment of their salary. So the payroll came in at the right time, and it cushioned that effect of lack that we don't have. The government stood in for us, and we really appreciate the government, and we pray we can have more of it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sunday. We'd like to listen to the next beneficiary under the MSME grant scheme. Mr. Idoko of Zoel was a beneficiary of the payroll. So please, can you come up, sir? And when you get to introduce yourself. Let's put our hands together for him.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I want to stand on the existing protocol, but I want to appreciate the Honorable Minister of State that is here. God bless you, man. And the essay on SMS. My name is Adeni Oshunsoya. I'm from NATO. NATO is Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners. We are the shakers and movers of this nation. Up NATO, up NATO, up NATO, service to the nation. We are the tanker owners and the mass transit in Nigeria, where we move petroleum products throughout the Federation. And we also have our mass transit sessions in all the 30 states of the Federation. And then when they came up with this palliative survival fund, we are glad. Our drivers are so happy about it. And then some of them benefited, some did not benefit, but we believe that all those will be corrected. And then last 2 months, we are also called upon that the scheme is still on, that we should project some of our states to benefit, which the coordinator, Mr. Solomon, and the Brumen call us. And we also make some of our drivers available for them, and they also benefited. But we are here today to stand that we are happy with what the government is doing, and we want them to continue with this Lauderdale project. We pray that the Almighty God will bless them and will strengthen them in Jesus' mighty name. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. In anything we do, it is always good to have to be gender sensitive. And the popular saying is that what a man can do. Okay. Of course, the chairperson of the steering committee is a lady herself, a very wonderful woman. We call her Mama MSME. Can we put our hands together for the Honorable Minister? All right, so we would now like to listen to another beneficiary of the Guarantee Offtake Scheme, Miss Elizabeth Ehidia. Yes, you're welcome. Let's put our hands together for her, please.
Good morning, everybody. Honorable Minister, say good morning, ma. Good morning, sirs. I personally benefited from the scheme during the COVID-19. It really helped me in such a way that I wasn't expected it at that particular time, but it came at the right time. But even with that, we still have some challenges which we still bring before our Honorable Minister. Please, we'll still call on you to please still assist us. We are really grateful for everything you've done for us. More grease to your elbow.
Thank you. We'll also call on the next person, Mr. Bala Haruna of the Anatomoras. Is he here? Mr. Bala Haruna, thank you. Let's put our hands together for him. He's coming.
Good morning, everybody. Permit me to greet the existing protocol. More the Honorable Minister of State, you are highly welcome, ma. The beneficiaries, my colleagues, the beneficiaries of the Survivor Fund, we from KEKENAFEF Association was NACTAMORAS, National Tricycle and Motorcycle Owners and Riders Association of Nigeria. We had benefited so much with this program, and it has really helped our members at least to be a self-reliance into our businesses. We have to thank the government that came up with this program, which it has really helped our members in one way or the other. Whatever somebody is doing, more especially we that we are doing a petty business, whether that motorcycle is belong to you or the KEKENAFEF is for somebody that you are balancing. We have used that money to help ourselves and even improve our operations. We have to thank the government, and we are also hoping that more programs like this might come off that will also be helping our operations in Nigeria. Thank you.
Yes, those are very interesting and very beautiful testimonial. We also like to listen to another beneficiary, yet another beneficiary, a lady. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Muhammad Hafsat.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hafsat, and I'm here to say a very big thank you to the federal government. And I really appreciate this program because it really helps me a lot. I'm very thankful. So that is the only thing I came here to say. I appreciate.
All right. Yeah, she's one of the beneficiaries from the artisans industry. All right, moving very quickly, we will quickly go to the presentation of certificates. However, before we go there, I would quickly like to call on the National Organizing Secretary of Akomora, Mr. Pius Nnamani, to share a few words with us. A comrade par excellence, yes, we can see.
Good morning, everybody. Let me stand on the existing protocol. My name is Pius Nnamani, Chief. Great Akomora. Great Akomora. Greatest Akomora. Safety and efficiency. I'm here on behalf of my national president, Prince Samsudeen Apalogun, who's supposed to be here. Our thanks goes to our mama, the Minister of State. I remember the day we went for this program and they told us that they have closed registration. And we know that Akomoran have the highest number of members nationwide, with 12 million members, which out of us, more than 4 million voted for Muhammad Buhari in 2019. And they said a program of this nature is coming up and Akomoran is not involved. We wrote to the Minister of State. And thank God, Ma, that you give approval that our name should be included. I'm not speaking here just for the FCT. I'm speaking nationwide because I coordinated for Akomoran nationwide. I will thank the ministry and thank somebody like Solomon Ambrume who never left us behind. Ma, we are very grateful. I will remember one particular person in Enugu precisely. The day he got that money was the day that the wife delivered and there's no money to pay for the hospital bill. He was sitting there and he got a lot. They are looking for 25,000 and they got 30,000. And so it is not all about the money, but how it came. Majority of our members who registered got the money. But ma, like Oliver Twist, we always beg for more. Our members are more than 6 million registered under NIPSAS now. And I believe election is coming up and we are not campaigning. If some of them will be revisited again, Ma will be grateful. Finally, Ma, I know that everybody seated here, majority of us who are not driving came with motorcycle. And government made a pronunciation of ban. Ma, from your Ministry of Trade and Investment, you know quite all right what we are bringing to table in terms of contribution. We are begging federal government to look back, that removing the head is not solution to the headache. Thank you very much, and God bless you, ma.
Interesting. Anyway, an average Nigeria is a regular Oliver Twist. Anyways, we always ask for more. Yes or yes? Okay, so without wasting further time, we would now like to listen to our mother, the chairperson of the steering committee, an amazing woman, the brain behind all of this that we are seeing and all the testimonial, the story, that is the brain behind the success stories we are listening to today. Ladies and gentlemen, with a standing ovation, please let's welcome for her speech the Honorable Minister of State for Industry, Trade, Investment, Honorable Ambassador Mariam Y. Katagum. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. The essay to the President on MSMEs, Mr. Tola Adekunle Johnson, whom I have adopted as my son. This survival fund has done a lot of wonders. So one of the key takeaways for me is that I've adopted a son. The representative of the DGITF, the FCT focal person, my dear beneficiaries and members of various trade associations, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all. It is an honor to welcome you all to this beneficiary town hall meeting on the MSME Survival Fund and Guaranteed Offtake Scheme. This is a program of the federal government under the Nigeria Economic Sustainability Plan the committee of which is chaired by His Excellency, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, GCON. From the outset, the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment expresses its appreciation to His Excellency, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, for his exemplary leadership, love and concern for the citizens of this country that resulted, amongst others, in the approval of various interventions for the growth and development of the economy. We're equally grateful to His Excellency, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, GCON, for providing focused and purposeful leadership for the NESP, especially the conceptualization and implementation of the MSME Survival Fund. The purpose of the town hall meetings, and this is one of the town halls we're having today, is to highlight the scheme's achievements around the country and to receive beneficiary feedback on all tracks of the scheme. The meetings will also serve as a medium to sensitize the public, especially the informal sector, on the advantages of federal government interventions. These meetings are taking place simultaneously in Lagos for the Southwest Zone, in Kano for the Northwest Zone, Bauchi for the Northeast Zone, Enugu for the South-South, and Enugu for the Southeast, and Edo for the South-South Zone. For the FCT, we decided to adopt the North Central Zone as part of our events today. You will all recall that the NESP was approved by the Federal Executive Council on 1st of July 2020, following a recommendation by the Economic Sustainability Committee, which was established by President Muhammadu Buhari on 30th March 2020. The scheme has been domiciled in the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment with my humble self as chairperson, and I have a wonderful team at STECO and a wonderful vice chair who is also a woman, Mrs. Ibukun Awoshika. As you all know, in Nigeria, as well as across other parts of the world, the COVID-19 pandemic caused disruptions in demand and supply chains, especially for corporate and household products and commodities. The federal government therefore responded with the MSME Survival Fund and Guaranteed Offtake Scheme as its interventions to support micro, small, and medium businesses affected by the pandemic. This was born out of the need to stimulate the economy post-lockdown, especially for MSMEs and self-employed individuals previously gainfully employed, by creating production opportunities for MSMEs and providing conditional grants to distressed businesses and self-employed individuals who have been strained by the payments of salaries during the COVID-19 pandemic. As you all know, a steering committee was inaugurated to run the scheme and set parameters for engagement with the public. And the steering committee worked directly with state government-appointed focal persons who acted as liaisons to ensure the engagement of MSMEs in their states. The anticipated impact of the program was to directly engage 100,000 MSMEs in the production sector alone and save at least 1.3 million jobs. The program set a special target of 45% female-owned MSMEs and 5% for those with special needs. The target beneficiaries for the scheme were self-employed entrepreneurs and micro and small businesses registered in Nigeria. An MIS verification and approval platform was launched by the Project Delivery Office, and beneficiaries in the 36 states and FCT were invited to apply via the Survival Fund portal. Applications, if you remember, were verified in line with the project's approved criteria, which were 1, Nigerian citizenship, registration in Nigeria with the CAC, a verifiable BVN of the business owner, and a staff strength of not less than 3 persons. So the implementation of the Survival Fund across the 5 tracks yielded positive results. And I will go along to just mention some of these results. Under the payroll support scheme, the target was to augment the payroll obligations of MSMEs and also to reach 500,000 beneficiaries. In total, to date, we have reached 490,408 employees who received between 30,000 and 50,000 naira as 3 months' salaries in the 36 states and the FCT. In the Artisan and Transport Scheme, which was designed to provide one of 30,000 naira grant to 333,000 beneficiaries, we have currently paid 398,260 self-employed individuals and MSMEs. And you'll ask me, how was it that we're able to do this? I think later on I will explain to you why we're able to pitch more resources to the artisan and transport schemes. The CSC Formalization Support Scheme has achieved 100% target, as 250,000 businesses have been successfully registered across the 36 states and the FCT. Concerning the General MSME Grant Scheme, which gave a one-off 50,000 naira grant to MSMEs, and our initial target was 100,000 MSMEs. So far, a total of 82,491 businesses have benefited from the scheme. The Guaranteed Offtake Scheme recorded a total of 37,024 beneficiaries out of the target of 100,000 beneficiaries. Under this scheme, the offtake items were products such as face masks, hand sanitizers, food items, etc., from MSMEs across the 36 states and the FCT. These items were later handed over to the state governments and the FCT for honored distribution to schools, hospitals, NGOs, as well as other public and private institutions. Overall, to date, the fund has disbursed the sum of 66 billion and 20,000 directly to 1,258,183 beneficiaries, including those registered by CAC. And I think the icing on the cake is all these 1.2 million beneficiaries, we can track them. We can track them by association, we can track them by local government, we can track them by name, by BVN, by state of origin. We can track each of them. So we have this information for transparency and accountability purposes. We have also been able to reach 38% females. We tried and tried to get the target of 45%, but so far we've only been able to do 38% females and 2% for those with special needs. Now, in the North Central Zone, which is our zone of concern, comprising the following states: Benue, Kogi, Kwara, Nasarawa, Niger, Plateau, and I've added FCT because this is our host state, we've been able to achieve the following. For Benue, we've reached 32,631 beneficiaries, and we've been able to disburse 1.7 billion to Benue State. Within the FCT, 37,878 beneficiaries, and we've been able to disburse 1.9 billion. Kogi, 32,300, we've been able to disburse 1.7 billion. And mark you, the amounts I'm abbreviating, I'm shortening the length of time, I need to read it out. So for Kwara, 36,486 beneficiaries, amounting to 1.7 billion. Nasarawa, 32,186 beneficiaries, amounting to 1.6, almost 1.7 billion. Niger with 32,115 beneficiaries, also almost 1.7 billion. Then Plateau State, 32,576 beneficiaries, 1.7 billion. So the total number of beneficiaries in the North Central Zone, including the FCT, is 236,172 beneficiaries, amounting to 12,174,550,000 naira only. Now, in the FCT, the scheme recorded a total of, as I said, 37,878 beneficiaries under the 5 tracks. With the payroll support track, we're able to reach 12,999 beneficiaries. For the general MSME grants track, we're able to reach 2,322 beneficiaries. For the artisan and transport support track, we're able to reach 14,768 beneficiaries. For the CAC formalization support track, it was 6,606. The guaranteed offtake scheme, 444 beneficiaries. I've already mentioned the total value in Naira for the FCT, which stands at 1,903,580,000 Naira only. Now, this is not to say that we did not have challenges that were encountered during the implementation. And some of these challenges bordered on the initial lack of trust by the beneficiaries, as it required obtaining their details, including BVN. The above is closely related to the initial apathy by Nigerians on government intervention programs, as it's always assumed that you needed to know someone to benefit from the scheme. But this program has shown that you didn't really need to know anyone. You can go online, apply, or you go jointly through your registered association. There was also a heavy reliance on the use of ICT. This is for transparency and traceability, which also left the program susceptible to attempts at infiltration by internet scammers. There were many attempts. A lot of them failed in trying to hack into the website. There were also instances of multiple applications by individuals using forged documentation, fake beneficiaries, and attempts to bribe officials to bypass the processes. Several enumeration exercises were carried out to get the required number of beneficiaries in some states. Mr. Solomon's name has been mentioned twice or 3 times by some of the beneficiaries. We've had to send our enumerators back and forth to many states, because when they come back and we look at the information, sometimes beneficiaries themselves have incorrectly put in their account numbers, their BVN is not correct, their telephone numbers are not quite correct, and we've had calls with the Bank of Industry to send a lot of bulk messages. Please check your details are not correct. All in an attempt to make sure those who applied first actually benefited from the scheme. And when all else failed, I remember during one of the press briefings, at a point we had over 23,000 failed payments, you know? So we said, no, we cannot just throw these 23,000 away. Let's try within each state to see how many we can recover. And as much as we could recover, there were still some that we just could not go further. So we now had to send the enumerators back to those states to say that go back within the state, you will still mobilize more people. And mark you, one of the basic principles we adopted as a steering committee is to ensure equity amongst the states. So with the exception of Lagos, Kano, and Abia, where we know that there's a very high number of MSMEs, all the states, we tried to make sure the amount, both in terms of Naira and the number of beneficiaries, were as close to each other as possible. And eventually, when you see all the data, all the states were within 1.6, 1.7, and then occasionally you have, some states getting up to 1.8. Now, under the Guaranteed Offtake Scheme, and this is the scheme we knew from the beginning was going to be problematic, and it actually proved to be problematic. Under the Guaranteed Offtake Scheme, 19,928 beneficiaries failed to deliver their items after receiving the initial 30,000 naira, which was a sort of mobilization fee, thereby breaching their contract with the federal government. And I think here it is important that you, the beneficiaries, are here. Part of the feedback or the way you can assist government is giving feedback to these beneficiaries that think they have taken the 30%, 30,000 mobilization, and then decided not to continue with the contract they entered into with the federal government. Now, at the national level, I've mentioned the 19,000. They were paid this initial amount, and then they failed to supply the items, thereby negating the bonds they signed with the federal government. It should be noted that despite mass text messages to these people, we sent at least 3 times, so that these defaulters could at least respond and be reminded of their obligations. We also opened a dedicated account at the Bank of Industry, which was communicated to them for the refund of the initial sum, because some complained, we can no longer supply these items. So we said, okay, return the money to the BOI dedicated account. Now, STERCO has directed the appropriate agencies to commence the process of recovering such monies and possibly prosecuting the defaulters, as they have blocked the chances of many MSMEs that would have benefited from the scheme. Now, if I go back to why artisans got a little bit more money, at a point when we saw that we could not effectively utilize all the funds for GOS, we sought approval. So we were allowed to repurpose the money. So we said, since there are a lot of artisans that required this money, part of what we could not spend, we're able to put on the artisan scheme. Now, the central message is that for those who defaulted on GOS, they need to remember we have all their details. We have the account numbers where these monies went to. We have their BVN. So our recommendation is that there's still time to return the money. Otherwise, we've made our recommendations to government and the security agencies, and it is very, very easy if government decides to wield the big hammer. It's very easy to get these people, but we've given them a very, very long rope. So mark you, these are those in production, and it is a bit disappointing. They are the ones producing items, and they've taken the mobilization fee and have decided not to fulfill their part of the bargain. So you can see as beneficiaries, some of you have done your bit, but some have decided not to do their bit. So now, the federal government at this point wishes to appreciate the effort, integrity, and commitment of MSMEs across the country who participated in the successful implementation of GOS. These businesses, despite the rise in the cost of production, completed their contracts under the scheme. Now let me turn to the FCT, where I said 444 MSMEs successfully supplied their products, while we still have a total of 739 MSMEs who, despite receiving their 30% mobilization fee, failed to deliver their items and therefore were disqualified from receiving the balance. I guess some of them thought after taking the 30,000, we'll still give them the balance. But we had people on the ground who ensured that goods have been received, they've been documented, and then information is passed on to government for payment. So today, those 444 MSMEs, or some of them, who successfully deliver their products will be awarded certificates of commendation from the federal government for their loyalty, integrity, and effective participation in the scheme. We also have, we're just taking a sample because we cannot give all the 444. The other certificates will be issued either from the PDO or from the Bank of Industry. Now, we also have certificates for the state focal persons, but I think those will be distributed separately. Now, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, notwithstanding the various challenges faced, the project enjoyed tremendous support of various state governments who provided warehouses and logistics to ensure a hitch-free exercise. There was also cooperation and support provided by business membership organizations such as NASME, NASI, so many associations here, transport associations and so on, that have really provided us the support in terms of mobilizing their members. And here we want to sincerely thank them for the support and cooperation, and we have listened to some of the comments that you've made. And I must also, before closing, convey my personal appreciation and that of the steering committee to my colleagues, the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, the Honorable Ministers of Finance, Budget and National Planning, and also to the Honorable Minister of FCT for all the support. He is our host, and we've enjoyed tremendous support from the FCT. Our sincere thanks also go to all the state governors for their invaluable support and cooperation, to the private sector and other stakeholders for the unwavering support that has led to the huge successes recorded in the implementation of the MSME Survival Fund. And a huge thanks also go to the media, because we've been engaging with you all through the process. Now, to all those who contributed hands-on towards implementation of this scheme, members of the steering committee, comprising heads of agencies under the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, such as the ITF, the Bank of Industry, who are our fund managers, and SMEDAN, as well as representatives of the organized private sector. We say thank you for the support. Last but not the least, we say a big thank you to the SA, to the President of MSMEs, Mr. Tola Johnson, and his entire team at the Project Delivery Office for all the hard work that has led to the resounding success of this scheme. So I thank you all for listening, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.